What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Juicy Jet Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Rooney, and it is game day. And not only is it just game day, it's a very special game. It's the Snoopy Bowl, the thing that everyone has been waiting all summer for, all spring for. It's finally here. Jets versus Giants, MetLife Stadium. Unfortunately, it's a Giants home game, but it should be fun. I'm excited to get out there. So I want to do a really quick episode before I actually go because I got to get to this tailgate. Just about recapping the week, what I'm looking for in this game today, and if there's any players that I really want to have stand out or people I want to see double down on their great performance from last time. So we're not going to do trivia. We're not going to do a gym break because I cannot talk about the Mets right now. That's just something I don't even want to think about. We're only going to stick to football. So let's start and talk about what happened this past week. So Jets versus Giants. They go at it in two joint practices, one at the Jets facility, one at the Giants facility on Tuesday and Wednesday. And this is like basically simulated like real life football, where of course it's controlled because it is practice, but you're going against another opponent. It's probably the closest thing you're going to get to a real game. Probably even better than playing in a preseason game because you can create situations that you want them to go through and things like that. So I think a lot of these coaches really cherish these joint practices because it really gets the competitive spirit up. The big thing is you just want to hope that nobody gets hurt. So why don't we talk about that first, injuries. So going into Jets-Giants joint practices, we find out that Tyrod Taylor is going to be out for the entire preseason. Turns out he got his knee scoped, so they hope he's going to be ready for week one. Now this is scaring me because Justin Fields runs a lot. He's not typically a healthy quarterback because of all the hits he takes. We need a solid backup to potentially step in if Justin Fields gets hurt. So am I ready to say that undrafted free agent Brady Cook or Adrian Martinez is ready to do that? No, definitely not. I don't think either of them are, backup caliber yet. I think they're third string practice squad quarterbacks at this point. So that's one to look out for. The Jets did work out a few quarterbacks this week. Doesn't sound like they've signed any, but I could see them bringing in another camp arm just to have someone to throw the ball around that can actually play while we wait for Tyrod to come back. So that's a really interesting one to look out for. Other injuries. Quinnen Williams was back on the practice field. He was mostly doing like stretching, individual drills, things like that. So none of the 11 on 11 stuff. Same thing with Jermaine Johnson. Good to see him back, but once again, only doing individual stuff, not 11 on 11 yet. I think they're going to take their sweet time with both of them because we don't want them to get more hurt than they already are. Sauce also wasn't in practice for the second day. They said it was calf soreness. I would just put him on ice probably for the next 3 weeks. There's no need to play him. We know what he is. Let's get him healthy and ready to go, but it doesn't sound like anyone's really worried. So that's a good sign. So those are the big ones to look out for. And then, of course, Lazard. Lazard, arm in a sling. We saw that after the Packers game. Said he was going to be out 2 weeks. We'll see what they do with him. And this is a really big chance for some of these wide receivers to step up and take his spot. So let's talk about the practices. So it sounds like in practice one, the Jets probably had the slight upper hand. I think Justin Fields started out really hot based on some of the reports we were hearing out of camp. He looked really good, really decisive. But then when they got into 11 on 11s towards the end of practice, it kind of flip-flopped where he didn't look as great. But overall, it sounded like he had a really good practice. I would say the big thing that I wanted to look for in these practices was one, Malik Neighbors versus Sauce Gardner. We got absolutely robbed because unfortunately Malik Neighbors was hurt the first practice, Sauce was hurt the second practice, so we didn't get to see them go at each other. So it would have been a really cool, fun highlight reel back and forth with the two of them because they're two of the best at their positions. But what I really wanted to watch, or really wanted to hear about, was our offensive line versus the Giants' defensive line. I'm looking around our schedule, and I don't think we're going to play a better defensive line than the New York Giants have. I'm not sure that there is a better defensive line than the one the Giants have. Maybe they need an extra defensive tackle, but between Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, you got Abdul Carter, who's absolutely a freak, and then Brian Burns, I don't know if you're going to play anybody better than that group. It sounds like in practice, the first one, Olu really held his own on the left side, which is great to hear. It sounds like Membu had a little bit of trouble with Brian Burns, which I think is a good thing. I think you get him out with the best competition and see how he does, and he'll learn. He can watch the tape and get better. Like this is like your welcome to the NFL moment. So hopefully that's opens him up to just continue to get better. Like that's it. He's a rookie. I'm not expecting him to be perfect every single time that he steps out on the field. I also heard that Abdul Carter was just wreaking havoc in the middle. It sounds like Josh Myers had a problem. It sounds like Titman had a problem. So yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, this guy's a freak. Like, I'm assuming he's gonna be Defensive Player of the Year. I'm assuming he's gonna be one of the best defensive ends over the next, 10 years, I would say. I loved him in the draft. I really wanted the Jets to suck a little bit more so we could get him, but didn't work out. I think it worked out with who we got though, so I'm happy where we're at. But yeah, Giants fans are gonna love him. So we'll see. And then if you flip to the second day of practice, I think it got worse on the offensive line. It seems like the Giants defense was really beating us up. And it seems like Russell Wilson also beat our defense up because our secondary was a little depleted with no sauce. So, not the best days of practice, but I think this is all good stuff. Like for Aaron Glenn to drive that competition, that culture, all the things he's looking for against the Giants, where, we're probably two pretty similar teams. We don't really know what we're going to be this year. We're fighting to be competitive. Dable's probably fighting for his job. And then Aaron Glenn's trying to build a culture, and the two of them came up together. They're both under the Bill Parcells tree, so yeah, it was interesting to see the two go at it, and I'm glad that we got to do an actual joint practice this year. So otherwise, no other big news coming out of it. Now, the big question though coming out of these practices, the joint practices, is since coaches view them as like games essentially, is Aaron Glenn going to play the starters? Because you basically had two games these past 2 days, or on Tuesday and Wednesday. So is he going to put him out there? In my mind, I think they are going to play. I would probably play him for a quarter or maybe a half. But we'll see. We'll see if he feels that he saw enough during practice this week where he doesn't want to play them. So let's talk about what I want to look out for in this game today. So once again, I highlighted the first one. It's the Jets offensive line versus the Giants defensive line. If they all play, it's going to be important. The second thing I'm looking for is I didn't get to see Mason Taylor last week because he was out. I want to see him playing with the ones, Justin Fields throwing to him, because it sounds like he's been awesome in practice. Of course he's had drops every now and then, but he's a rookie. Like you just got to get used to that and be okay with that. But I want to see him out on the field. So I would love to see Mason Taylor. I'm also looking at Jeremy Ruckert. It sounds like he hasn't had a great camp. I didn't see him at all during the Packers game. So he's got to do something to make this team. There's no ties to him from Aaron Glenn. So they could cut him loose if they want to. So we really need him. We need a second and third string tight end. So I'm really looking to see what Jeremy Ruckert can bring to the table. And then the wide receivers. With no Allen Lazard, I'm sure Garrett's not going to play a ton. Who's going to step up? Xavier Gibson's back. What's he going to look like? It seems like Jamal Pritchett is like really cementing himself to make the 53-man roster, which is crazy. And then you look at guys like Brandon Smith. What's he going to do? We know Tyler Johnson's going to make the team. Can Corley make a play? Just show that you still exist on this team. Because I really want him to make the roster, but he's just hasn't shown it at all in training camp so far. So, yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one to see how the wide receivers play out. And then I also like Skinner, Quentin Skinner, 6'5". Like he had a pretty good game against the Packers. Can he come out and do it again? So it's gonna be a battle for that. Those last couple roster spots on the wide receivers. And then on the defensive side, can Jay Tufele cement himself as defensive tackle 2 or 3, where he's like in the rotation constantly? It sounds like he's been hot these past 2 weeks, especially coming off that Packers game. Can he continue that momentum and cement himself on this roster as not only someone who makes the team, but someone who has significant playing time throughout the year? Because if he could play well, that changes the whole dynamic of the roster, because we didn't think we had a defensive tackle besides Quinnen Williams. So that'd be huge if he could be an actual player. So I'm definitely looking at him. Of course, I want to see some of the younger guys too. So I'm looking at like Tyler Barron, Leonard Taylor, Peyton Page, Braden McGregor, Eric Watts, all across the D-line. They're the young guys that I want to do well, because it would be great to have developmental players there, but they haven't done a ton this offseason so far, besides the one big play from Leonard Taylor last week. And then last but not least, I want to look for some of the people in the secondary. So Quantez Stiggers, obviously he's my boy. I love him. I just want to see him play well because I want to cheer him on. Jarek Bernard Converse should be back this week, the cornerback. He didn't play last week in Green Bay, so I'd love to see him. And I want to see more of Malachi Moore. Malachi Moore, he played, but he wasn't like that flashy last week. So I want to see him more involved and play a little bit longer this week. So those are the things that I'm really looking for this week. Nothing too crazy. It's the same stuff, like no injuries. Let's show that we're a competent football team. Let's cut down on the penalties, and hopefully do a little bit of this picture behind me of Eli Manning getting his head bashed. Um, yeah, against the Giants. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, the Snoopy Bowl has a long history of problems coming out of it. Whether it is this Eli Manning play where he was bleeding from his head, which was crazy. Mark Sanchez going into the preseason game and tearing his shoulder up, which a disaster. I can't believe Rex Ryan did that. Um, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens this time around. Victor Cruz, that was another huge. He had 3 touchdowns as an undrafted free agent. So that was crazy. So you never know what's going to happen in the Snoopy Bowl. So excited to go. It's going to be my first game of the year, and this starts off the big push that I have every single year. So we've done it 2 years in a row. I've gone to every home and away regular season game. We're doing it again this year. And preseason doesn't count towards my streak, but it's a good warm up for me. I got to get back into the rhythm of going to a game and doing the tailgate, all that good stuff. So yeah, if you're looking for things to do on a Sunday and you end up going to a Jets game, let me know. I will be there, and would love to tailgate with fellow Jets fans. So thank you all for listening. I know it was a quick 10 minutes, but maybe it's a little light listening before you head into the game today. And yeah, I hope you enjoy. Go Jets, and we will talk to you after the game with a quick recap both here and on TikTok. So I'll see y'all later. Bye.